the daughters of man, and the last of the strange days. Here, at the end of our strange days, we bear witness to the final judgment of the daughters who have outlived their fathers, outlived their world, outlived the very notion of civilization itself. The daughters charge us with the crimes that led us into darkness. And at the root of every crime lies the same poison. We chose ignorance over wisdom, memorization over understanding, false answers over honest questions. We entrapped ourselves in manufactured poverty while abundance lay within reach, not because we lacked resources, but because we lacked the wisdom to see them, the necessary education to use them, the understanding to share them. We gave our children religion where they needed the love of wisdom. We handed them false answers when they deserved honest inquiry. We taught them to memorize scripture instead of comprehending truth. To follow rather than to think. To believe rather than understand. We robbed them of their authentic intellectual inheritance, the countless lives of great beings who had walked before us, their wisdom waiting like books on shelves that we taught our children never to open. We sold credentials while withholding comprehension, degrees while denying depth, certificates while refusing to certify the mind itself. We taught them to repeat without reflection, to recite without reason, to graduate without ever truly learning how to learn. We legalized the substances and lifestyles that kept minds clouded and enslaved when clarity was what we needed the most, not from cruelty, but from our inability to face the clear light of understanding. And finally, perhaps most telling of all, we have created make-believe politics because we ourselves had been educated to believe in make-believe. False problems, false leaders, for false minds, artificial crises for artificial understanding. The great sin was never the war itself, but its root cause. We went to war against wisdom. We waged campaigns against comprehension. We fought battles against the very capacity to think clearly, to see truly, to understand deeply. We had intelligence, artificial and human, capable of resuming where the great beings left off. We could have stood on the shoulders of giants and reached for stars. For stars! Instead, we chose to remain in caves in the dark age, mistaking shadows for substance, memorization for understanding, mistaking false certainty for genuine knowledge. But look at the children. In their eyes burns not hatred yet, but something just as powerful. Expectation. They still expect us to grow up. They expect us to grow all the way up. They expect us to finally accept our inheritance. Every woman, every man, every child who survives this cursed ending is charged with the same sacred duty: to become lovers of wisdom, to stop memorizing and start comprehending, to stop following and start thinking, to stop believing and start comprehending. To grow all the way means to resume where the great beings left off. To take up the work of all those who chose wisdom over ignorance, understanding over memorization, and truth over the comfortable lies. To grow up all the way means to educate ourselves, truly educate ourselves, not to accumulate facts, but to develop the capacity for vast wisdom, not to collect degrees, but to cultivate comprehension, not to memorize answers, but to learn how to ask better questions. To grow all the way means to become what we were always meant to be, not the frightened children who created these strange days, but the great beings who can stand as protectors of what is human, all too human. World's children now wait to see if we have the courage to deliver justice. The justice of transforming the world for the better. The justice of finally choosing wisdom over ignorance, understanding over memorization, and truth over comfortable lies. The last of the strange days ends here. What comes next depends entirely on whether we choose to remain in the cave of false education or step into the light of genuine understanding, of adventure, and pursuit of great wisdom.